Welcome. And the question today from Explorer is, when was the moment you realized your workplace was toxic? Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his llama pen, so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. If this is your first time watching our videos, help me out by watching to the end, and then giving me some feedback in the comment area below. I do respond to every single one, so don't be shy. And if you want more of these videos daily, don't forget to like and subscribe, with notifications turned on for this channel. Oh boy, let's get ready for some drama. 30 Helens agree answered with, it wasn't always. I was fortunate to have a boss who took his role as a mentor very seriously. He wanted us to learn, improve, etc., and he was kind about it. He'd reward good work, correct you when you made a mistake, yell at you / scold you only when you really deserved it, and would admit when he made a mistake. He retired and left the company in the hands of a dude who was an absolute a-hole. Completely the opposite. He wouldn't reward good work. If you did something that was 99% perfect, he'd scream and berate you for the 1% that wasn't perfect. The last straw for me was the time I got a new file in. I spent weeks working it up, and prepared a comprehensive letter explaining everything that we were doing, what we planned to do in the future, and offering a detailed analysis of the whole thing. The a-hole yelled at me because his name should be on the signature line of that letter because your only job is to make me look good. He yelled at me over a bill, misspelling my very simple name in a follow-up email. I have one of those names that have a common spelling and an accepted, but slightly less common spelling like Steven/Steven. He used the wrong one. The next most senior partner reported that he had put the objectionable items into the bill after I had prepared it. A-hole didn't care. I quit. A lot of other people quit. I heard a year later that literally everyone had quit. They hired new people, including the brother of the next most senior partner. They all quit in less than a year. He lost his biggest client. They had to give up the big suite of offices they built in 2012. Can't say I'm sad to hear any of that. The CSDPF answered with, I had a job where my girlfriend's mother was my boss, so I guess, the moment I realized my workplace was toxic was when my girlfriend cheated on me. And then my girlfriend's mom hired the guy she cheated on me with. In hindsight, probably more than just the workplace was toxic. Throne12212020 answered with, when our boss got into a screaming match with one of the managers, his daughter, in the middle of the office. I just started there 3 weeks ago, and it was absolutely mind-boggling to watch. I looked around at my coworkers, and everyone was just looking away, doing their best to stay quiet, and not look at either of them. Person at the desk next to mine saw my shocked face and whispered, they do this a lot. Just ignore it. Never go into a business with family. My guess, the father worked his butt off to build a business. And hired his daughter to run it when he retires. And she's not very good at her job / or is lazy. Wears a trench coat answered with, one of my job's metrics for how our performance is graded by is on-time departure. We get so many points if we're within -10, -5, 0, 5 or 10 minutes from scheduled. People try to cheat by tampering with the clocks and that's a punishable offense. I was good at leaving early, or on time, most of the time. Got a call one day to warn me that I was under investigation because I had the most points in the company. They assumed that I was cheating. That's when I knew I had to go. I wasn't going to start being late to avoid repercussions. This reminds of a pizza shop I worked at when I was like 20. They used an iPad with a square as the register, and the owner had no clue how to use it, so I was the one updating menu items and prices all the time. I was also the only cashier whose drawer was right every single shift. So he was convinced I was stealing because I knew the boss better than him. No, good, your other cashiers suck, and your daughter is actively stealing. Jonah versus the whale answered with, my wife works at a deli that mostly employs people that are either in high school, or older retired people, that are just bored and want something to do. The disparity of maturity creates a lot of workplace drama. I kid you not, there is some 18-year-old girl who works there with her mother, and if you cross this chick, she will tell her mom. My wife is also starting to get chewed out for things that her manager forgot to do, like ordering food. Solar Shock answered with. When someone was called into the manager's office, then returned to box up their desk and leave. When I asked the manager if she was okay, I was told, we don't talk about people after they leave. If someone quit or was fired, they were just never mentioned again. It was creepy AF. Lil Sunflowers answered with. My parents sent a Halloween care package full of candy to my workplace, written to, the care of Lil Sunflowers. Next time I was at work, I couldn't find the package. Later was told it was open, and all the candy had been eaten. Earthwick answered with. They fired a new father, the day before Christmas Eve because he missed a month of work due to his wife getting very sick after giving birth. He didn't try to get medical leave or anything, because he was worried about his wife and taking care of his newborn. Second one was, when I sat in on a leadership meeting, I worked at the time as almost a bridge between two sides of the company, and all the leaders did was, gossip about their employees, and talk about who they wished they could get rid of, and who annoyed them. One of them was a new leader and they were friends with these people a month ago. The meeting was about how to improve morale on the floor, and the end result was a competition for a 25 gift card to the company store, that is nothing but company apparel, that no one wants anyway. It didn't work. Green Oak of English answered with. When the line, "You're only as good as your last mistake" popped into my head, I realized that it explained everything about how I was treated in that toxic office. It didn't matter how many things I did well, or effectively, one mistake and that's all anyone held on to. Also, I was hazed my first year there, and when I tried to ask about addressing some of the office culture, the director shrugged and said, "That's just the name of college way." Yes. This was a very prestigious higher ed institution. Ghost0427 answered with. We reached a point where we regularly had to wait to cash our paychecks. We basically were told, we had to get orders completed and paid for, in order for the account to have enough money to pay us. During this time, the boss went on a vacation which was just great for morale. My manager had to take a day off, effectively putting me in charge for the day. I texted my manager, what should I do if the IRS shows up? Lol. 2 hours later, an IRS agent did stop in looking for my boss. I found a new job not long after. Reddit Pratt answered with. My realization came late. I got laid off from a job with good pay and benefits, but I was dealing with long hours, high stress, a department with low morale, and a hands-off manager who seemed to care more about the company than me. Even though the place was toxic, I was sad to leave. I'd been there for years, and the job was in a field I know a lot about. A few days after the layoff, I attended an event not far from the building I worked in. When I saw the building, the first thought that popped into my head was, I'm glad I don't have to go back there tomorrow. Something somewhere, deep in my brain or my soul, had just told me that the job I'd just been fired from wasn't for me. Moan Crane answered with. When I realized there was no policy in place for dealing with aggressive clients, while regularly intaking aggressive clients. Like, are we just supposed to let them hit each other? Call the cops on a pair of 8-year-olds? What? Ain't none of us trained for physical restraints, so legally we can't really do much. I'm glad I don't work there anymore. El Tobrino answered with. I had a job as an industrial engineer that I really liked for 6 years. The guy who made it toxic wasn't even my boss. He was the operations manager of the building where I was domiciled, but I didn't report to him. When he started, my boss told him I was there to help him out with anything he needed. Well, a couple weeks into him working there, what he needed was for me to cover a Sunday shift that started at 6 a.m. The reason there was a need for a Sunday shift was because he attempted to handle almost twice the amount of volume that I told him was the max for a Saturday, and it went as poorly as expected, and called at midnight to let me know. When I didn't pick up because I was at my own engagement party, he went ahead and told his boss, and my boss that I had agreed to come in at 6 the next morning. It was one of the dumbest things I ever did, when I actually canceled all the plans I had with my family members, who were in town and showed up. If I hadn't, there would have been about 50 employees waiting in the parking lot because nobody else had the keys, and people would have been pissed at me, but oh well. At the time, my bosses were putting me on software development projects, and working on transitioning me into a software dev role, But within 6 months, I was supervising the operation from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Fridays, and 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Saturday nights, and I had been pulled from all my software projects. I quit to take a software engineering bootcamp, and now I am a software engineer. Play by paper answered with. Mine was, and I've told this story a few times on here, but when after being upskirted at work, 17F, the uniform was skirts, a kids/young people store, my late 30s, male manager, bought me black lace underwear and gave them to me for Christmas. In front of the entire team. At the staff. It was tongue-in-cheek, insinuating it'd give a future one something to look at. I remember feeling humiliated and sickened, but having to try and save face. I felt like the incident was my fault. After that, I love my job and team, and am happy to work in this field, and will do anything for them shattered. My eyes opened to illegally long shifts, being underpaid, secretly getting us to cover whilst he pretended to be in. And paid us cash in hand so the CEO wouldn't find out. We only hire young pretty girls because it's good to encourage shy kids, or teens, and add to the fun theme. Being far more nefarious and also morally corrupt. More completely inappropriate workplace things. I've thought for 5 years about coming out and talking about the company. It's somewhat well known in the UK. Past employees have said the same, and many are still recovering from it, years after leaving. But I've always been too afraid, and I know too well that many people would still support, despite things like this coming out. Well, there you have it. A perfectly great question answered by a bunch of fine and honorable citizens. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos as they come out. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off. Thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. I think he found more drama for me to share with you. See you soon.